Yeah.
Well, the bees are liking this weather. They've been all over for well, Jason's got the bees.
Yeah, but it's going to warm up.
Well, here we are again at the old mixing bowl. Well, I'm going to get a little brief demonstration on how to make Dutch oven biscuits. Now, there's 2 cups. And there would be about 4 cups. And we'll put a little more in there just to make sure. And you don't have to be too particular, but just a little touch of soda, and you put a teaspoon a short teaspoon of salt. Then let me see here. We'll put a teaspoon of sugar for each cup. And you notice my measurements are not exact, but it'll all turn out fine. We hope. We'll mix that around a little bit, and then we'll put some shortening. We should have about 2 tablespoons of shortening for each cup. And that's probably almost enough. I've done this before, so I know it works. Okay. Cut it up good with the shortening. Yeah. That should be about right for that. I forgot it. Put a little oil in here, and you want it just down kind of in one edge. And now this is a valuable tool. It's a tomato sauce can. That's the best biscuit cutter in the world. And I just cut these. If you'll notice, I don't go around here and cut them like that. So you got a bunch of stuff left over in between. Now, this is a sign of a good bread if it'll come apart like that. If it wants to sag, well, you got a good mix. You don't want them to be, I call them cartwheels. They're so stiff you could roll them across the table on edge. You just like that.
Oh, beautiful.
Now see, the oven is cold. And the biscuits in there cold, so we have contact heat underneath.
Good tea. I think you just started smiling. Years ago, I had a client eat 13. Back in the days when you could, the limit was 10. And his wife ate 3 or 4. And they were clients of Dick's brother, Dave, and he fished them one day, and he told me, Steve, make sure you have lots of fish for lunch. They love fish. And that was a record.
We were introduced to Woody Heineman years ago, who had been a chuck wagon cook on the King Ranch in Texas. And he came up into this country, met my dad, and they became friends and began to make river trips. At that point, we didn't know anything about Dutch oven cooking. And Woody had done cooking on the King Ranch, so he kind of introduced my dad, and we began to carry the old cast iron, you know, and the 16-inch oven is 55 pounds, and in a boat party, you're looking for lightness. But anyway, the biscuits turned out perfect, and so that's kind of what got us involved with Dutch oven cooking.
Now they should all brown evenly, because we're not going to overdo it in the middle where it's the hottest. Inside it's the hottest in the middle. Like I say, because this heat escapes there all around the edge, this is going to keep that edge warmer than in the middle. But down on top of the bread, it's even.
So is it really important to preheat the lid? What process with the fish?
Yeah. Roy's going to check it.
Look at there. See, there's the bottom. And the middle would be done about the same.
Getting your meal here. It's not any big deal, but we should have the hot foods obviously down by the fire. And then you can go up on both sides of the table up here. There'll be fried chicken, there's some salmon, there's some other food up top. The biscuits are going to be right here in the Dutch oven. And jam and butter and honey and all that stuff. And then when you're done, we have a little bit of a process here. And we'll talk about that as you guys get done. That's a long time from now.
A lot of people that you meet, not only guides or people, but you meet nice people, good people, are your customers, and you think back on that, and where you wouldn't have had those customers if you were a painter out painting houses or something. You know, yeah. Sitting in the boat, and he's sitting kind of high. He brings a kind of a stool to sit on, and his wife sits in a chair behind the oarsman in the bow of the boat. He didn't want her up there interfering with his fishing. We always got a big bang out of that, you know. Yeah, and I would fish. Usually, I was fishing Herbert Hoover Jr. And they'd always fly up here, and they had their own plane, and they had the pilot. Well, I fished the pilot one year, and I had more fun fishing with Hoover's pilot than I did just about anybody. He was great. I learned something from him, and that's one thing that a guide does. He learns from his customers. You don't ever take the attitude that I know it all.